Hi guys, it's Chris at Cork and Crown back in my cider shed with some more cider to try. Or is it? Or is it? So what we got today, we've got two drinks from Turner's in Kent. Phil Turner and May Turner, his wife as well, I think plays a part in the business. I've met her yet, hopefully actually this week I'll meet her, hopefully, which will be nice. Only met Phil so far. So what is it? Well, first off, it is what he calls pear cider. So this is made with Perry pears. It's made with dessert pears because he's in Kent, and basically that's the style of cider making and perry making in Kent, or pear cider making, whatever you want to call it. So it's made with a blend of different pears. I can't remember the different varietals. That's pear cider, and then rhubarb cider. So this doesn't qualify as a cider; it qualifies as a made wine. You might notice it's 4%. Where is it? 4%. So for made wine, if it's over 4%, you pay more tax. So it gets down to 4%. There's 100% juice, and he presses all the rhubarb himself as well in a little press that he's got, and he says it's a nightmare because it just gets clogged up, etc. and so forth. But you know, he wants to do it using 100% fruit, so I'm going to try it. Why not? This is not an alcohol pop by any stretch. It's only 4% for starters. Okay, it's 100% fruit. He uses a champagne yeast, I believe. Contains sulfites, totally fine by me. Do not have an issue with sulfites personally at all. I keep saying I'm going to do something on sulfites. I keep forgetting, but basically, for me, it's not an issue. It's not an issue. Yeah, so I'm going to try it because people like this sort of thing, and I don't think this is going to be in any way, shape, or form an alcohol pop at all. So, neither is this. But this might be sweeter than this, but we're going to find out. I think this is going to be a bit tart. He does back sweet. He does use sugar to sweeten it up because it's so tart he has to. And he uses a champagne yeast, which means it ferments to dry. I don't think he filters. I don't know if he pasteurises or what. I can't remember now. I'll have to ask him again. I mean, it's hazy, so I don't think it's filtered. So he might have to pasteurise. Not sure. Anyway, I'll find out when I see them this week. So yeah, let's try them both. I'm going to try the rhubarb first because it's going to be tarter than the pear cider, I think. You want to start with the drier one first. So let's open this up and have a look. Okay, because we had the pear cider, or perry, whatever you want to call it, from Nightingale's, and that smelled like an amazing, amazing ripe conference pear. Like they use eating pears. I think conference is one of them. It smelled like the most amazing ripe pear on the nose, and it tasted fantastic. But it was absolutely bone dry, absolutely bone dry. Shocked the hell out of me, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I'm definitely going to get hold of some of that as soon as I can. This is not still, however. This is sparkling. I do like the sparkling got. I think it's almost like, I think when we did the medium dry tasting, we said it was almost like a cream soda texture in your mouth, which is gorgeous. Really, really nice. So look at that. So this has got rhubarb in it. It has got a slightly pink hue to it. I did open the right one. Come on, I opened the right one. Of course I did. As if I wouldn't. Look at that pink blush. Look at that pink. I mean, you know, it looks summery, doesn't it? It looks summery, and it's got nice bubbles. It's maintained its head a little bit as well. So this is only 4%. And smell it. It smells of, apples and rhubarb. It smells of those two things. I don't know what else to tell you guys. That's what it smells like. But it's a neutral yeast they used, which is meant to basically bring out the expression of the fruit. That's why they do it. It's more fruit driven, this style of cider making. It's more acid, more fruit driven. That's the whole point. They tend to use wine yeasts to emphasise that fruit flavour and aromatic. And this has got that. It smells a bit like a fruit pie. That's what it smells like. Yeah, I'm getting a bit more apple now, but it's got like that rhubarb character. It does smell like a rhubarb apple dessert. That's what it smells like. It's no bad thing. Let's try it. There's that moussiness again in the mouth. I thought it was carbonated, but bloody hell, he gets it bang on the money. The texture of that is wonderful. It is like a cream soda texture. It's brilliant. I love the way this is force carbonated. It's just wonderful. It makes you realise what you can do. You know, it's just great. So yeah, it has been back sweetened a bit. I think he says he has to because it's just too tart otherwise. I have a sweet tooth. I could take this tart than this though. I like rhubarb. I like things like lemon as well. I like sugar, but I also like sour. I could take this more sour than this. It's actually pretty pleasant. It's like, it tastes like a pie. It tastes like a fruit pie. There's a pastry, a sweet pastry element to it. There is. And there's almost like a creaminess from that. There's a creaminess about it as well, actually. And that partly comes from those creamy bubbles, but there's a creaminess on the palate as well. There really is. I think like it's like an Eton mess or something like that. I can't remember. It's quite bold acidity though, but only 4%. It's quite light. It's quite refreshing. For me, I think it's back sweetened a bit too much. I really do. It's nothing like as cloying as like a commercial by any stretch of the imagination. And he has to sell it all, so he wants to appeal to a certain market. And the sort of market that are going to buy this sort of thing, the sort of people who would probably buy sweeter drinks, they are. So he's not fooling anybody. He's like, that's kind of what it is. It's like not an alcohol pop, but it's for people who would drink alcohol pops, but try to get them to drink something which is of a much higher quality, like this. It's actually pretty pleasant. It tastes like a dessert. There's almost a custardy element to it as well. Rhubarb and custard. Okay. I find it back sweetened a bit too much, but I know he uses like pure cane sugar. That's what he uses. He doesn't use like sucralose or anything like that. Yeah, it is like a dessert. It's like a dessert. So I almost want to finish with that. Not start with that. Let's try it against the Pear cider, shall we? Does it say anything? It doesn't say anything. I love his labels. They're great. He used to be a copywriter, so it was his job to get things down to the bare minimum. Like when he was editing copy, that's kind of how he did his labels as well. I really like him. I really like his labels. It's like an old poster for a band or something in the 70s or something like that. It's great. So let's try this. So again, a little bit of sparkle. Raymond's on the move again. Pour this out. This has got a pinkish blush as well. Definite pinkish blush. This, there it is, you see. Looks like a very, very light rosé, doesn't it? Both of them do, actually. I expected it less from this one than the other one, though. So I'm not sure what varietals he's got in there to give it that pink blush. But it's there. Very bright. False carbonated. But again, it's got that lovely fine bubble on the top. So I think it's going to be very similar in texture. Oh, apple all the way. I'm sorry, I want to talk about the pear all the way. The apple's on the brain, obviously. Lovely apple and skin. Sorry, pear and skin. Jesus Christ, get a grip. Yeah, nice, ripe, fragrant. It's lovely. It smells like amazing pear. A pear when it's perfectly ripe is better than an apple, hands down, any day of the week, if you ask me. However, the window of opportunity for a pear is so narrow that usually they're too young or they're too old. So it's very hard to get them just right. Which is why people tend to go for apples more, I think, because at least they're more reliable for a longer period of time. You know kind of what you're going to get. But with the pear, you just don't. Yeah, lovely. There's a hint of smoke about it, something as well. Something in the background makes you think of smokiness and something. I like it. Let's try it. So this is actually drier than the rhubarb one. In fact, actually it's not that sweet at all. It's got some sweetness to it, but actually, it's got about the amount of sweetness you'd get in a pear. No more, no less. It's kind of where it's at. So it's really nicely judged, actually, I think that. This is delicious. I like that a lot. Don't think I like it quite as much as the Nightingales, but that was still, and this is sparkling. I think with the still one, you got more contact with the tongue and even more intense pear character. But this is also very nice. This is a great summer drink. It's a great summer drink. What did I say it was? 5.5. Yeah. Yeah. It's tasty. It's not super complex. It isn't super complex, but what it is really tasty. We had the what do we have the other day? We had the the Swedish bloody pear cider, whatever the hell it's called. I've wiped it from my brain because it upset me so much. That was sickly sweet. Taste of almost no pear whatsoever. Very little aromatic, and Kopparberg. This kicks its ass. And actually on the nose, it's got some nice acidity as well. It doesn't just smell sweet. It's got some acidity. In fact, it doesn't smell sweet. It smells of ripe pear, but it doesn't smell like it's going to be sweet and sugary. And sure enough, it's not sweet and sugary. It's a nicely judged level of sweetness. Again, summer drink of that. I mean, it really is. Crikey, you could nick a lot of that. It is sweet, it's accessible, it's easy drinking, but actually there's a delicious, the nose is great, and it's perfectly delicious to drink. It's a satisfying drink, you know. It's not challenging you, but you don't always have to be challenged. You know, life isn't like that. Sometimes it's nice, sometimes it isn't. Sometimes you want to watch an art film, sometimes you want to watch a blockbuster. That's just the way it works, you know. That's the world, and that's true of most people, I would suggest. And this fits very nicely into my lifestyle in terms of sometimes I've grabbed a bottle of this and drink it very happily indeed. So there you go. I think of the two, I prefer the pear. I think I'd like this if it wasn't quite so back sweetened. I think a bit more tartness, a bit more of that tart rhubarb character to the fore would have lifted it a bit more, because I think if it's got rhubarb on the label, I kind of want a blast of rhubarb, you know. And if it says rhubarb, you kind of expect it to be tart. So I think you could probably put about 25-30% less sugar in this, and it would be, for me personally, it would be more drinkable. This is great. It's no more sugar. It needs no more sugar, and I think it just tastes great of fresh eating pears. That's what it is. So there you go, guys. That was interesting. And I enjoyed it. It was good. So there you go. More stuff from Turner's. All right, guys. As always, thank you for joining me in my shed. Do join me again. But until then, cheers.